What is up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom and become the rockstar agent in your market. And that's what we're talking about today, because we got a special guest that's going to share exactly how you can become the rockstar using a book specifically, but also content marketing strategies. And we're going to talk about some of the biggest mistakes that agents make when they do things like write a book or put out content marketing. We're also going to talk about time management improvement for agents, some ideas and tips for that, and we'll answer some questions from you both live and from the Facebook group, guys. So we've got a ton of stuff to get into. We are broadcasting and coming to you a little late today thanks to some tech errors and some issues on the back end, but we are here and we're excited to be here. So first of all, the junior grandmaster himself, Greg McDaniel. Greg, what's up today?
What's up, Pimp Popsicle? Man, it is a good day. I had to throw that out there. I didn't have to use my AK. But I thank you, 90s rap music.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Ice Cube, for that contribution to American literature.
Hey, it's my contribution now, bitch. But he wrote it. I'm just echoing it. But hey, no, seriously. So what happened last night? I was going through my emails and I got a full price offer on one of my listings, which is super awesome. Then I just got a random call from a postcard from our $5 million listing that I showed you guys. We put that out, and this dude called me up today. Well, he sent a link through my Playster website. Goes, hey, I'd like to get my home value. Would you please give me a call? So what I do, I'm got him on the line. Super mellow. He's like, hey, bro, what's up, man? What's going on? Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, come on over to my house and give it a value. I'm like, all right, well, I'm super casual today. Is it cool? And he's like, yeah, man, it's totally cool, man. It's totally cool. I'm like, all right, fuck it, sweet, let's go. I'm like, I'm in shorts and jeans, super cash. He's like, it's cool. So I do some prep on this thing. Zillow is pricing it at $6.5 million. I think he's more like $7.5 to $8 million. 13,000 square feet on over almost 6 acres, privately gated, completely, $1 million views, 13-inch concrete walls. This thing can withstand a 7.3 earthquake directly below it and keep on ticking. It's to the same quality as hospitals are rated. Yeah, I'm in a pretty fucking good mood. Just to put it mildly.
I'm very happy for you, Greg.
Thank you, man.
I'm also happy that you didn't make the classic mistake, which is somebody reached out to you and expressed interest in what you do, and you immediately shoulder rolled into the nearest foxhole, covered yourself up with dirt, and refused to ever call them back.
Matt, I've learned that I've taken those whippings this year and lost $300,000 on income because I didn't do callbacks. So I'm like, no, I'm going to call them back. I don't care how big your house is. And I'm like, fuck, your house is huge. I swear to God, dude, he has.
You're very salty today. What is the deal with the profanity?
I don't have any food in me, man. I got to get something out.
Holy cow! I need to have.
All I did was salt. All I did was
have some lunch delivered to you. All right, let's bring in our special guest.
Damn it,
Nick from the 7-Hour Book. Nick, how's it going today?
It's going great, Greg. Great to be here and great to be with you as well, Matt. Glad to hear you're having an amazing day. It sounds like.
I'm having a very good day. I'm very food deprived, and I'm here to piss Matt off for the rest of the show.
Yeah, a lot.
See, almost a nose pinch. Anyways, dude, yeah, Nick, super pumped to have you here, brother. I know you're going to bring some majorly cool info, and I think a lot of our viewers are going to get a ton out of what you got to say, dude.
Yeah. So Nick, let's start off with just real easy, and we'll get to maybe a question right up front here on some time management stuff. But Nick, just give people kind of a 60-second bio on who you are, where you are, and what you do.
Absolutely. Well, you guys, and to all the viewers and the listeners out there, my name's Nick Raithel. What we do is with the 7-Hour Book, which is a system that allows anyone in real estate, any agents, any brokers, to get their own professionally published book in just 7 hours of their time. And all they have to do is talk to us over Skype. We do everything else and get them a real book to use in their marketing.
Like hard copy? Or soft copy? Or anything they want on the packaging, right?
Yeah, whatever kind of book they want. And it's designed specifically to work for them, to not just be a fluff piece, not just be the same book everyone else has, but to be a customized, unique book to work for them and to be kind of a boomerang, if you will, to throw out and bring back business for them.
Now, we've had several guests come on and talk about how effective books have been.
Yeah,
for them. And that's why I wanted to get Nick on here, because in all honesty, guys, if you got a couple of bucks and you want to stand out from your crowd. I mean, a book would be an incredibly awesome thing to do. Actually, I was thinking about that when I was at my listing appointment today, about I got to get this guy a book. I don't have mine yet. And so that would have been an awesome thing to follow up with, something unique. Hey, I thought about you. Here's something of mine, yada, yada. So anyways,
Yeah,
I'm going to stop
for
talking
sure.
and let Nick talk.
We got to get Leslie to edit your book because the basic text is done. All right, so Nick, let's talk about time management a little bit here, and then we'll get into kind of some of the other things that we can talk about with you and content marketing. I'm excited to get into that stuff. But so we've got a really good question that'll kick us off. So this is from Sally Sharber. This is in the Lead Gen Scripts and Objections group. She says, "Hey, good morning. I'm a new agent. I need help with time blocking or having some sort of schedule to follow to keep my pipeline full. Right now, it feels like I'm winging it every day, and I hate that. And there's no worse feeling than that, than getting up and knowing you should be doing something and not knowing what you should be doing. So let's start with you, Greg. Kind of give for a new agent, what do you think a good daily schedule is like, and then we'll get Nick's insight on it.
Depending if you're an early bird or not an early bird, but get up, I would say somewhere before 6 a.m. Like I was up at 4:40 this morning, getting ready to head into the gym. I got a good workout, hour and a half workout in. I came back, I did some meditation, some goal review, which is very key because then you can stay on course and make sure you're not deviating off of where you're trying to get to. Get some good breakfast in you, get showered, get into the office, and then your schedule at that point, you need to have it blocked out already. My schedule on my calendar is color coded so that you guys can see exactly what my schedule is. So you guys don't have to, no one has to guess on what your next move is going to be. It is just what it is. Now, for me, here, let me do this. I'm going to do a quick screen share for you guys. No, I'm not, because this computer's new and I need an extension. So we're not going to do that. But I work through the day and I put things in there. I call walnuts, unmovables. My prospecting, the podcast, follow-up time, all of these things are very, very important to put in there. Now, I've been working with Lily about this, and she put into her schedule her cold call. I'm so proud of her. She's doing 3 hours of cold calls and 3 hours of door knocking every day right now, and guess what? She's getting leads hand over fist. You have to get rid of the fear of prospecting, the fear of the unknown, because as soon as you eliminate those from your day and you accept them as your norm, then they lose the power of fear, and they lose the power of you not wanting to do anything. I mean, who wrote the Eat That Frog? Brian Tracy, not Dean Tracy. Brian Tracy. Dean Tracy's the buddy of mine. Brian Tracy, yeah. Eat That Frog. That's doing the ugly thing first in the day. But to get your calendar, if you have nothing else to do, like right now I'm trying to lose a pesky 10 extra pounds that I've been lugging around with me for the last couple of months because I haven't been dedicated to getting them off. Every time I'm going to do a phone call, I take this, I put my headset on my cell phone, and I go right out the back here and I just walk. And I get my 15,000 steps every day. But I'm also out meeting new people, and I'm handing out my business card to people I meet on the trail back here. So just build it in, and then if you want to deviate a little bit, that's fine. But go into places where you can hand out and do work from. Like Matt, you work from Starbucks consistently.
Yeah.
From Starbucks, hand out business cards, but always be in the public.
Yeah, I like it. So Nick, I mean, you work with top agents, and of course you're working with extremely busy people that are have trouble finding an hour essentially free on their schedule to even record with you guys. So what are some of the things that you've noticed that you either has worked for you or has worked for your clients for time management?
Sure. Some of the big ones are, first off, to time everything. Time everything, or at the very least, have a sense of how long something is going to take so you can plan for it. Know that, for example, if you're doing prospecting and you're focused on, say, content creation or emails, that typically to get those sort of things out, to get the mailers out, that's going to take you to create the content for it, say, an hour for each mailer. So you can then plan on your schedule what you were talking about a little bit earlier, Matt, with the time blocking. So you can block out that time, set that on your calendar. Another thing I want to sort of reiterate is the point you guys made about exercise, movement, anything like that, because any kind of movement, any kind of exercise gets your mind moving, gets your mind working. So you might be able to move faster in completing a task because you kind of have that activity, you have that stimulation. So I would say those are two of the ones. I would also say, just on a side note for time management in general, understand that you are, with your willpower, so to speak, for managing time, are going to have those breakdowns. You are going to need dead time. So give yourself time each week that's basically screw around time when you know that you're not going to be productive. You can kind of, it's almost like a buffer that letting off some steam when you're so tightly wound and you're so tightly managed with your time. Have those times blocked off that really are just kind of kickback sessions to give yourself a break and make things easy and relax so that you can go hard in those moments when every single minute needs to count during the week, say Monday to Friday.
Yeah, you bring up a really, really, really important part here, and that a lot of us agents, we think that we need to be busy consistently, when being busy consistently takes your energy level and just drains you down if you're not doing anything productive. You need to take the time, rest a little bit, get into the office at 9 or 10. But if you're going to stay late until 6, 7, 8 at night, or you're going to be so hyperactive when it comes to productivity during the day that you can come in a little bit later, or if you worked a long day before, but take the time to relax. I've told the story 1,000 times, but my dad started bleeding from his eyes. And another time his retina detached because he didn't take the time to relax and recoup. It's absolutely imperative. Matt takes cat naps all day long. He builds them into his calendar.
I do. I drink excessive amounts of coffee and still manage to take cat naps. I was talking to, there's a gal named Roberta Ross who's coming on the show, six-figure real estate coach, and she went so hard for so long that she hit a wall and couldn't get out of bed. And basically had to spend the next few months recovering, had to deal with adrenal fatigue and all this stuff from that kind of the hustle and grind mentality, dominate all the time. And yeah, there's like Greg, we both know Pasquale Scopoliti. He's been on the show before. I love his perspective on it, which is that at some point in the day, you absolutely have to have that all-out blast of effort and activity that you give towards accomplishing your main mission for the day, whatever that is. Give everything to it, commit to it wholeheartedly, and have a burst, a sprint, essentially, of all-out work to get that done. But you can't do that all day, every day. And that's one of those things where, like, it's funny, guys, and I'm sure you've heard this before, some of the people that call into like Grant Cardone show and people that comment on Gary Vee stuff are like, how hard is your hustle? Man, I hustle 24/7. Like, really? You're hustling while you're sleeping? Like that, even if you can hustle 18 hours a day, you're going to burn out. And so, Nick, you bring up a good point, which is if you know yourself, kind of when your energy is at low points, whether it's during the day or whether it's through the week, account for them, build in some white space into your calendar at those strategic times so that you can pull back and refresh, so that you can actually hustle when you need to hustle and not claim that you hustle 24/7, which I always get a kick out.
Yeah, you hustle 24/7, you will burn out, guys. This business is stressful enough already. Don't allow it, because you're going to go through a cycle of about every 7 years. You're going to cycle out of this business, either mentally, physically, emotionally, some way, shape, or form. So to extend that time frame just so you can get more time in the business, absolutely take vacations. I know it might be a cuss word to a lot of you, but a vacation is a very good thing. It recharges your batteries so you can come in stronger. So you can either be 50% all the time or 100% 90% of the time. Definitely be 100%, 90% of the time. Take 10%, go relax, go have fun, have a life, for God's sake. Jeez.
That's right. All right, so let's take a second and Nick, tell everyone where they can connect with you, and then we'll dive into some of the content marketing mistakes and book strategies.
Sure. Those who would like to connect can go online and visit us at contentcore with an S.net. That's www.content, CONTENT, core, CORPS.net. Content Core, like the Marine Corps.
Perfect. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the easiest way to describe it for anyone listening is just Content Core, like the Marine Corps.net. Okay, and then Greg, for us, it's Get Now Business. You guys can check out the latest course that starts the second Tuesday in August. We've got people that are signing up already. We appreciate that, guys. We're excited to have you. And for anyone else that's hesitating, get off the fence. If you want to learn how to generate now business, and I mean putting commissions in your pocket in the next 90 days by strategically going after the two types of people that are most likely to do business with you immediately. That's what the class is all about. It's a simple 4-step marketing plan that'll teach you and give you the exact steps on how to do that. So go to getnowbusiness.com to check that out, guys. So let's get into the book strategies first. So Nick, where did the genesis of the idea come from, and who were kind of your initial clients? And let's talk about some of the results and some of the strategies that you used with them, maybe compared to what you do now, and some of the lessons you've learned over the years in publishing books.
Sure. Well, going back to, I guess, the genesis of this, it was really came from sort of a fusion of 2 points. First off, coming from the idea that I believe, Greg, you were mentioning a little while back in our conversation, which is the power of having something out there, having a book, having something that really can kind of be a business card, if you will, that people don't throw away. Because people really do not throw away books. I'm sure that, I think I see some books in the background on your end, Greg, on that desk back there. But if you have any, chances are you probably aren't going to throw them away anytime soon. There's sort of this big thing that just sits on your desk, whether it's a paperweight or whether you're actually reading it. But that thing is going to be there. So It came from an understanding of that, in addition to getting into kind of the productivity side of things, getting into, and personally getting obsessed with, the Brian Tracy and other people kind of productivity, things that they describe, for example, in the 4-Hour Workweek, in books of that nature, where they really are describing how to get more done, how to, as you guys were saying, hustle harder each day, squeezing more things into your day, into more of your blocks of time. So when you put those together, taking this very long and very orthodox idea of creating a book, but then figuring out how to do it faster, how to be more effective at it in less time, that's really where we got going and thinking with the 7-hour book idea.
So, well, Nick, I'm a dyslexic. I'm also ADHD. I mean, my emails look like a third grader using a crayon when I send them to Matt. He doesn't know what color or what kind of writing he's going to get. So for me, writing a book is an impossibility. I will not sit down and do it. So that's what fascinated me about what you guys were offering, because you offer like that solution to that I could write a book, literally write a book, but all I have to do is sit and talk with you. And that was fascinating to me. So when you guys came up with this idea of, doing this for agents, is Matt, who's an avid bookworm, your primary client? Me, the ADHD whack job, am I your primary client? I mean, who do you like to go after? Who have you seen, be this most effective for? Or probably everybody when I think about it.
Yeah, I think on an initial level, it would be sort of broad. Everyone. I mean, everyone from, I see in you're heading down there, Greg, everyone from the one and only real estate PIMP gangsters, everyone from, that kind of side of things, down to sort of the getting out business types, just kind of a wide spectrum of agents. But then I would say, going in a little bit more specifically, those agents who, A, understand that they need something out there, and then B, going in even more specifically, realize that a book is the thing of everything that they would like. Because I want to point out to our listeners right now who might be hearing book, and kind of getting that word stuck in their head. A book is what you need. We happen to, on my end, work and do books, but who's to say, for example, that you wouldn't necessarily need Facebook ads or YouTube videos? So don't just get hung up on the idea of a book. Understand what you need, think about your goals, and then if a book fits within your goals and within what your own objectives are, whether that's more deals, whether that's bringing in a specific type of client, a specific type of buyer or seller you would like to work with, if a book is going to help you get to those goals, then absolutely, it might make sense to talk to us or to think about a book, but recognize that there is a variety of tools that you can use, and then try to figure out which one is going to be best.
Yeah,
so,
agreed.
I mean, I think that's awesome. I mean, that's 100% true. When it goes into 7 hours, I mean, what's the size of a book you could be anticipating getting? And help me understand and help our listeners and viewers understand, what kind of content? Should it just be about real estate? Should it be about a hobby? Should it be about the area? Should it be a smattering of all of them? I mean, where do they start?
Sure. I think one of the best places to start is going to be really starting with two things. Starting off, first off, as they say, as our friend Simon Sinek says in that famous TED Talk, and others have said before him, start off with why, knowing why you want this, what you are specifically trying to do, Whether that is, as we were saying, more deals in general, whether that's recruiting and attracting a specific type of client. So start off with that why, knowing why you want it. Then also get an understanding. You might have to take some notes on this. You might have to go and take a course or attend some sort of a seminar, but understand what makes you unique. What is your secret sauce? What is the thing that makes you unique as an agent, as a broker? Are you specifically in your area unique in the way that you go after luxury listings? Are you, in another case, a realtor in your market who's perhaps among the oldest for the types of properties that you're selling and that you're listing? So what is it that makes you you? And then from there, on a component related to that, I would say think about off of real estate, but what is it that just makes you unique as a person? So do you have, for example, an inspiring family story? Are you the first person in your family to be doing real estate? Are you, on the other end, coming from a long line of realtors? And so it's kind of in your blood, so to speak. Does that really give you a unique perspective? Or do you have something totally different? Do you have a rags to riches story? Did you get into real estate after sleeping in your car for years, pulling your way up? I definitely have talked to agents who are like that. Kind of, they really have hustled and made an incredible run of it coming from nothing. So what is it that makes you you? And then that would go into a book. And that could be used to not only inspire people, but to set you apart in that respect and show that you have a whole lot going for you, more going for you than others who are just, you're black and white, you're vanilla realtor. Well, you're a realtor who brings in some character, some color, some flavor. And you convey that with the story you're telling.
Yeah, love it. I mean, it's what Greg talks about, the superpower, which is, Greg, you go over that with people with, when you do a McDaniel challenge, or we talk about it on our classes and stuff like that. I mean, it is so incredibly important to know what is the big idea of me as a service provider, right? So I have a service, and I was talking about this on Facebook Live earlier today. What is the big idea? Now, that can be, you start with your superpower and what you do best at, but then you got to translate that into what is the big idea to my potential client, right? So it's not just about what makes me unique and what I think I'm good at in my story and things like that. We still have to go a step further than that and figure out, okay, how does that apply to the potential client? What's the thing that's going to grab their attention, right?
Yeah, sorry, I was clicking around there for a second, but yeah, no, that's
deeply pondering what I'm saying. I appreciate that, Greg. I appreciate you took a step back to breathe and ponder the wisdom.
No, that was like being on a bad date. Tell me more.
Yeah. Tell me more about how you dress up your cats, Greg.
Those little furry bastards are getting their teeth cleaned tomorrow. They're gonna fucking hate me at 7 a.m. Like claws coming out. Maybe I'll write a book about cats. But I mean, how to be a single parent
of aggressively average animals.
How to be a single parent to 2 cats. It's a rough life. I have to say, I have to give up so much for them.
Oh my god! If you publish a book like that, Greg, I'm done. We're done. The podcast is done.
No, but see, what I like what Nick's talking about is that you can take this idea, this content, guys, and you don't have to be a New York Times bestseller. You just need to give something of value to the people. Nick and Matt, when I was walking out of that listing appointment today, nearly $7.5, $8 million home, all these different things I want to get a book and bring it to him on. And Nick, tell me if I'm wrong on this, but I have a theory in it, and we've had other guests, agree with this, but I want to get your point since you do books for a living. I don't have a business card, so I'm just going to pick up your business card here. Instead of handing them the business card, you bring the book. But before you go over, you write in the book, hey, Matt, thanks so much for letting me spend some time here today. You have a beautiful home. I look forward to working with you. Yours truly, Greg. XO, heart. But they're never going to throw it away. And then they can show it off because it's something of interest about maybe the book you write for yourself or a book you bring about another interest. But it is that business card that never gets thrown away. Nick, do you tell your clients to sign the inside of the book?
Yeah, I do. Whenever possible, sign the inside, but give it some kind of a personal touch. Whether it is signing, whether it's sending it with something unique on the inside, your business card, some sort of a gift coming along with it, something useful that they can use, flashlight or who knows, but just something to, whenever you can, give it that extra oomph, give it that extra bit of staying power in their mind.
How about scratch and sniff stickers? I think Matt
That is a new one. That is a new one. I don't believe we've recommended that yet, but scratch and sniff, I'll have to add that to my list too.
I'm going to get a book from Greg in the mail. It's going to have a scratch and sniff sticker, and it's going to be the scent of one of his cats, Bandito. And it's just like a scratch and sniff Bandito scent. Greg, please don't do that. Okay, so that is a great strategy. Putting the signed, the personal signature essentially, and the personal message on the inside of the book. I love that. There's another. We've had both Mike LaFido and Eric Brown on the show before, and they're both big Dan Kennedy fans and have been in the kind of the GKIC world for a long, long time. And so they both have books, and their books are aimed at the consumer market, which in both of their cases are kind of luxury homeowners that are looking to sell. And so they each have books that position them as a seller's agent. I love what both of them have done, though, is they've taken that book, and it is the centerpiece of a Dan Kennedy style shock and awe package, right? This whole thing where you open it up and there's a what Mike LaFido's got an actual like book tab, like a tablet book in there, which we open it up and it like plays his video for his marketing luxury group, and he's got his book on marketing luxury properties. Eric Brown has something similar where it's got like C's Candy in it. It's got his book. It's got like his testimonial booklet, which is like 40 freaking pages of testimonials. I mean, both of those guys have done an impressive job. And they've both been on the show before, so you guys can check out their episodes and see what I'm talking about. But yeah, there's so many things that once you have that piece, it's like your signature piece. There's all kinds of different ways that you can use that book to get it in the hands of people in a certain way that absolutely blows them away and effectively destroys your competition.
Mm-hmm. And why don't more people do that? I mean, Nick, have you seen more and more agents?
It's freaking hard to put out a book.
No, it's not. we have a guest that can do it for you in 7 freaking hours. No longer hard. Now has been made easy. You're like the Uber of books.
That's right.
Just take me there, Nick.
Oh man, that's funny. All right. So Nick, what are some other ways that you've seen both your successful clients of yours, and just what do you see in the landscape as far as people using books in their content marketing, and what are they seeing success doing?
Sure. Well, one of the big things comes back to what you guys were just saying, which is that concept of shock and awe, where you have this thing, this monolith, if you will, that kind of sits out there. We like to use the term, what we call a book is having a thud factor. Mm-hmm. It literally thuds on their desk. Mm-hmm. A blog post is great. Twitter message, Facebook post, those are great, but those don't literally smack and make a sound when they land on someone's desk. A book, is actually a physical thing. You drop it on the desk, thud like that. It actually does that. They can hold it in their hand. That is shock and awe. That is also, to get kind of weird and physical and mental mind stuff out there, it literally connects with them. They can hold it and touch it. Yeah. And I don't want to sound all mystic or anything, but it does link to them mentally, and it's harder for them to forget. So it definitely has that thud factor, which we're very big on. In fact, we originally were going to call this thud factor. That was actually going to be the name for it instead of. But
the 7-hour book.
We thought the 7-hour book might be a little bit easier to remember than just thud factor.
Yeah,
because
awesome.
That could be.
That is a great title.
I have so many comments on where thud factor could be played into your mind. But
I'm sure.
He goes by Thud Factor. I don't know his real name. Never met him outside the shoot.
Really, Greg?
Oh yeah, I went there. I had to, but Nick, you're 100% right. I'm desperately trying to find one of the booklets that I hand out to everybody, because when we first ordered our booklets, and I've shown you guys this several times on the show, they were kind of flimsy, like wet noodles. They didn't have that feel. We went back and reordered our next set, much thicker cardstock, added a couple of pages. Now it doesn't make a thud, but it definitely has a higher quality feel to it. Mm-hmm. When you pick it up and you hand it to somebody, you can see them look at it like,
it has some heft. It has some girth to it.
So we're sticking with the porn analogies, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's horrible. But yeah, Nick, you mentioned a good point, which is that it connects with them physically, and you're absolutely right. There is a place for building followings on Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff, and obviously things like what we're doing here, Facebook Live, it helps you connect because you can actually look into a person's eyes and see what they're all about. You get a sense of their body language and stuff like that. So there's a place for everything, but at the same time, that is ephemeral. Like, it goes away, especially Snapchat, for God's sake, and Facebook Live. They'll be gone in 2 weeks, essentially, from your Facebook feed, never to be seen from again, because they're so far down the feed that nobody's going to go there. A book is one of those things that once it exists, it is a physical thing, but it's also it's a signal, and it's a symbol to people that you have put in the work, right? I mean, and Nick, you can talk about this, but just the credibility of people knowing that you've gone through the effort to think through and had like put hard mental thought into what it is that you claim to do is a huge leg up on other people that are going after the same business when it's clear that they haven't put in the hard mental thought that you have.
And a lot of the times agents, what they'll do is they don't think that they need it. So when it comes to them creating the book, they're like, oh, I'll get along with what I've done for the last 25 years. Well, sweetheart, your last 25 years haven't been so shining, have they? And you want to double your business? You got to break out of the box. You got to do something new. And it really does, because guys, no matter what you put in that book, just having a book with your name on it gives you cred over Matt Johnson, over Greg McDaniel. I just put myself in the same fucking position as you, pal. puts you in that higher position. And Matt's right, is because books aren't, Matt, you read books, I listen to books, we're still getting smart, so don't beat up on me about that. But a book, no matter what it is, as soon as you get, with the credibility comes the thought that you have knowledge. And knowledge is what people want, because knowledge gets a home sold. Remember, guys, they have a problem. They're sick with owning a home. They need to become unsick by selling that home. And with that knowledge that they think is in that book, even if it's like, followed by numbers painting, doesn't really matter, it's a book, they're going to take you more seriously.
Right. So Nick, let's talk about some of the mistakes that people make when it comes to whether it's content marketing in general or using a book as a physical form of content marketing. What are some of the things that you see people do wrong when they kind of venture into that world?
One of the biggest right off the bat is thinking that you need a groundbreakingly original idea, that you can't do this thing until you have the next, in a book sense, the next War and Peace, this epic tome, this huge, seismic thing that is going to just ripple through your market and ripple through the entire world, basically, and make you into this incredible figure who no one has ever seen. And the bottom line with that is that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to have this book that no one's ever seen. You can go with tried and true ideas. And as a matter of fact, you should, in most cases, go with tried and true ideas and concepts for a book that people have seen before, that people are familiar with, whether that's 5 ways to sell a home in the Bay Area, or 5 ways to get people more interested in your listing, whether it's simple ideas like that are easy to understand, that can be put into bite-sized chunks, such as 5 ways to do X, whether that's also lessons learned. Another very good example would be lessons learned from your real estate career, which then are applied in a way that your clients and your prospective clients can relate to, that add value and add knowledge to them. That would be another one. So bottom line, guys, don't get caught up in thinking that you need an original idea. Go with ideas that work. And then within there, as we were saying a little bit earlier, think about how you can put your own unique spin and your own unique slant on those ideas, bringing in not only the tried and true concept, but the things that you know and that you can personalize to that to bring the best of both worlds into that.
So I just thought of something. You could do 2 books. One would be like, I'm making this shit up as I go. What's next? And then have a 5, 7, 10 mini little chapters of the steps throughout the sales process, what to do, what to expect. This is the checklist, what to do, all that stuff. But then say refer to workbook. Go over to the workbook and you can have all the checklists. You can have anything that people need to fill out, all contact sheets. You could really make it an interactive process and still have the book by itself. That's the coffee table book, but then they have the workbook where they can actually get the checklist, rip out things, all the stuff that they're going to mark up. I mean, that's something that's just, we talk about it, but how often have you actually gone in with something going, here's what to expect. I know it's kind of thick, but that's why I'm here. Don't sell it yourself. Here you go. And really doing that. That's a good idea, Greg. Thanks, Matt.
Well, I'm going to tell you where you got that, and that's from Jay Salmon.
No, did not.
Oh, you did too. So Jay's been a guest on the show. He wrote a great book called Disrupt You, yes. Yes. And along with that, so the lead magnet for to build his author list, his email list, was a 40-page companion workbook. It's a brilliant idea. So you could go to, so whether you bought the book or not, you could go get the workbook, which would give you some of the key concepts and exercises from the book in like a condensed PDF version that you got for free just by getting on the email list. And of course, then obviously the email list sells you on the book and sells you on the concepts and stuff like that. So I thought that's always stuck with me. That's something and Greg, I think that's where that possibly came from, but it's a great idea to apply it to being a listing agent. You have your centerpiece book that is your credibility statement. Then you have a workbook that has all of your checklists, your home inspection, your showing checklist, your process checklist, your all that stuff. Just so something they can actually write in and scribble notes in and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm actually looking for the Disrupt You. I think I can just get that.
It's just jsalmon.com.
Yeah, I'm putting that in right now.
Cool. Anyway, all right, guys. So Nick, refresh people's memory. I know we covered it right up at the top of the show, but remind people of where they can connect with you.
Sure. We're online at www.contentcore.net. So there's going to be content, CONTENT, core, CORPS.net.
Perfect. And I know just from looking at that you've got, plans and you're flexible on the financial part of it. So if anybody's thinking that it's out of their range, go check it out. So go to the website. You can afford this on any budget. And it's something that, and we talk about, kind of building your credibility and your authority. I don't know if anyone, even nowadays, the general public doesn't know about services like this. And so they don't understand that you may have just hopped on, 7 Skype calls with a marketer and a ghostwriter, and there's somebody who's done all the work for you behind the scenes, like with your service. They're looking at it as you slaved away in the basement or over a desk and with a typewriter. That's kind of the public's image still of books, and so it's a good thing. We're living in an interesting time where you get all the credibility benefits of a book without actually having to do all the hard work that used to be of writing and editing and slaving away over your own book, over every last word of it. So it's a very cool time because you can. I love kind of the world of leveraged content creation. I run a Done For You podcast production service for the same reason. So Nick, you're kind of my counterpart in the book world. So guys, I can't encourage you strongly enough to go check that out. And it's something that you need to consider adding to your marketing arsenal.
Yeah, it is a really important thing, guys. And the thing about Jay Sandwich's thing is that the Disrupt You, the 40-page workbook, it's going to help you break down and work through what you should or could write about that you don't even know might be locked up in your head. So it's a very, very valuable tool. And Matt, I totally forgot. I got to connect with you off air about something super cool that you're gonna thank me on air for, because it's gonna be so awesome.
I really doubt that, because that would really go against my general bend, which is to give you a hard time and bust your chops anytime I can.
I know, but this is.
It would just ruin the chemistry of the show. All right. So first of all, remind people where they can go to learn more about the upcoming class.
Guys, you can go to Get Now Business. I posted it into the link. I'm going to post it again as we speak here, so that you guys can go to Get Now Business. It starts on, what is it, Matt? August 8th, right?
Tuesday, August 8th.
August 8th, 9 a.m., guys. We only have 20 spots in there. We will not take any more. We are helping people get now business, and that means within 90 days, you'll get paychecks if you do what we tell you to do. Now, if you don't do them, you're fucked, okay? We can't help you with that. But if you guys do it, then you guys will make money. Matt and I, you guys, we're no different on air than we are off air. We'll have some fun. We'll laugh. I'll probably insult someone. Matt will be cringing in the corner, just hoping not to handle lawsuits. But he's nodding vigorously. Oh, praise God. We get to hang out. Matt and I are going to run scripts together. We're going to show you the tonality. There's a bunch of free giveaways we're going to give you guys. And the cool thing is, if you guys don't like it, or if you don't get or don't feel that we gave you value for the $297, you have two choices. One, here, we'll get them both at the same time. One, we will give you the money back. No questions asked. If you don't feel you got the value, just say, look, you guys suck, and you'll get the money back. Or two, we will use that $297, and we will go pay that into another course for you that you feel would be more relevant for yourself. So you have a zero, you have 100% get money back, or a new course if you don't think we brought it. So it doesn't hurt you to get involved and get some nuggets of goodness up in the noodle. All right.
That's
so right. Get Now Business is there, guys, and follow us on Facebook. Stalk us like the voyeurs you are. And Matt is at 123 Main Street in Temecula, California.
Okay. Great. Thanks for that.
Follow us, guys, so you guys know when Matt and I go live. Matt's doing some really cool stuff on us in Facebook Lives by himself and with his, what is Sasquatch's official name?
James, my operations director.
Operations director. No, James, I want to see his title. Operations directors, and what they're doing and talking about how to just be relevant and how to use different technologies. So go watch him. I do live circle prospecting, and just have a great time, guys. We're here to give you value, immense value at a zero or low cost basis. You don't get to get hung up by one of those freaking high priced trainers that are going to gouge you and then hold you in a $600+ a month contract for a year, when someone that lives in Bobsville, Indiana, sorry for anyone who lives in Bobsville, Indiana, and you live in Los Angeles, California, there's no relevance there. So watch the show, laugh your ass off, share it, follow us, buy the course, and come back and watch us again. Pretty simple. Watch, repeat, do it again. Okay.
That's right. Cool. Well, hey, Nick, it was a pleasure. I appreciate you sharing. I know you've been on some podcasts with some of my friends. So, guys, if you want to check Nick out and learn more about him, you can also look up his appearances on, I think, Natural Born Coaches and Real Estate Success Rocks with Patrick Lilly and Real Estate Real World with Marguerite Crespillo. Those are all great podcasts that you should check out immediately if you enjoy learning more about real estate and, in Mark Mooney's case, the coaching industry. So, guys, go check that out too. We appreciate everybody joining us, and Greg, take it away.
All right. Peace out, ninjas. We gone.